your purpose was to lend your ear to distressed customers who dropped off the shoes for repair, but really they wanted the word of encouragement from you. Because you were there, you knew them, they've been coming to you for 10 years and you've assisted them. And what you realize is that, yes, your business activity may be centered around certain product or service, but ultimately it is you who's fulfilling that purpose. And when you show up as you, who you are, what you are, and who you want to be, then everything else in your external reality will allow you to express more and more of who you are at the deep soul essence. And that's the beauty of working with higher consciousness.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the podcast. Chuck Anderson here, and I'm so glad that you're here because we have another amazing guest for you, and I think a really important conversation. So, as you know, our audience is entrepreneurs and business owners with big ideas, big dreams, big missions on how they feel like what they do can be potentially world-changing. And we want to support that in as many ways as possible. Now, sometimes in business, there's problems and challenges and roadblocks that we come up against. And a lot of times we're focused on the business. And then there's other times where we need to look into ourselves. And these are some of my favorite conversations because you've heard me say this before, that your business will never grow to the, more than you're able to grow yourself. And so as much as this is a business growth exercise, this is a personal growth exercise. And that's why I love guests like the one I've got today. I'm so honored to have Dagmar Fleming with me today. Dagmar, welcome to the show.
Chuck, thank you. Thank you so much for having me here.
And I know you and I have had previous conversations, and I'm really excited to dive into this because the work that you do with entrepreneurs and just even the work, in growing your own business. I mean, you've got amazing stories and you do amazing work. I'm not going to try to tell your story. I always think that it's best to come directly from you. So let's start with you introducing yourself to our audience, who you are and what you do, and we'll take it from there.
Well, I would be delighted to do so. As you can tell by my accent, even though I live in Texas, I haven't been born in this beautiful state that I absolutely love and adore. I'm originally from Poland. I grew up during the time of communism, so came to America to be liberated and to use the spirit of entrepreneurship and abundance, prosperity, to really create the life that I wanted to have for myself. So I did come here. I achieved the pinnacle of the American dream. I had the college education, and I am proud to say that I graduated summa cum laude from the Ohio State University. So if there are any Buckeyes there, go Bucks. And then I had a career in both for-profit and nonprofit sectors. So I excelled at this international business development career so well that I ended up opening my own global consulting firm and had this amazing job of traveling around the world and helping foreign companies bring their business into America, and American companies export their products overseas. But my soul, my highest self, that this inner calling has requested a different path of me. So I woke up to my abilities, and these are the energy healing abilities and psychic, clairaudient, clairsentient. And I realized that I have ability to help others get unstuck, whatever is holding them below their potential, below their dreams. So the rest was the history. Unlock Your Success mentorship programs were born. And for over a decade now, I've helped over 1,000 entrepreneurs to accelerate their growth reach their income potential, which is very important because when we make money, we have resources to impact the world. And most importantly, to align everyone with their inner passion, that divine mission that every human being is here to accomplish.
Wow, amazing. And I know, Dagmar, that this is why I like what you do so much, because it really speaks to me, this idea of, something that we were meant to do, a calling. Sometimes, and I know this was true for me when I first started out, the first business I started, I thought it was a big idea, but I was doing it for the pursuit of money. And it really was through that process that I got to discover who I was and, what was important to me, to really take that, either change that business or get out of it and go a different direction. So I'd love to chat a little bit about, because I know this is, two things. One is you felt the calling and changed what you were doing, but then also in your work, helping to identify this as well. So let's start with the first part. Like, what was that? What was that like? That feeling like, okay, you're doing the consulting, but then now you're drawn or being called to do something completely different. Tell us a little bit about that transition.
It was an interesting transition. I will say that. Over years of working with entrepreneurs who are asking the question, what is my purpose? What is that big mission I'm here to do? I've realized that the beauty of the life purpose is that it's never ending and it's continuously evolving. So I cannot say that I didn't love international business development. I excelled at it. I was good at it. I loved every minute of it. But where I am now is the state of being in which all my authenticity, all my gifts and talents have a free realm to show up in any shape or form that I desire. And I think ultimately what's very important for every entrepreneur and business owner or career professional is to know that they can express that purpose within whatever activity that they desire. You can have a shoe repair store, and perhaps your purpose was to lend your ear to distressed customers who dropped off the shoes for repair, but really they wanted the word of encouragement from you because you were there, you knew them, they've been coming to you for 10 years and you've assisted them. And what you realize is that, yes, your business activity may be centered around certain product or service, but ultimately it is you who's fulfilling that purpose. And when you show up as you, who you are, what you are, and who you want to be, then everything else in your external reality will allow you to express more and more of who you are at the deep soul essence. And that's the beauty of working with higher consciousness. It says, whatever you want to create, we will optimize for you. We will make your life the best that you can be. Just heed the call and be you.
When did you first realize that you had these gifts that, it's like, wait a minute, I'm doing this work, but there's a bigger picture here. There's something else going on. I think I'm going to follow that. Or did you even deny it for a while? Because and some people I've talked to, they do. So what was that like in terms of, really acknowledging what was happening and deciding to go down this path?
Well, I resisted. So I do have quite a fun story. I was born with my abilities. I am really blessed because I come from a lineage on both paternal and maternal side of highly evolved, energetically, vibrationally enhanced people who simply have served humanity through these kind of abilities. But growing up in a communist system where you're supposed to be an atheist, using the words like soul or higher consciousness or God was not something that we could openly discuss. So I accepted the abilities as they are and went on going after ordinary human pursuits. Get your first job, get your salary, get your raise, open your own company. And then what ended up happening is that when I believe that every human being will reach the point where the soul comes in and says, you know, you've been dilly-dallying in high school for the last few decades, and it's time to graduate. So if we resist, if we put up the fight, then it's not a pleasant experience. Some call it the dark night of the soul. But really what it is your higher self, your soul, being your best friend and saying, you've been wasting all this time. You know that you are dissatisfied with your job, or perhaps that the business that you have, yes, you're good at it, so you keep doing it, but you're just going through the motions. It's time that I, your soul, pull you out of this pattern and place you in an environment and opportunity where you can show up in all your glory. So when all that calling came to me, I had absolutely no reason to heed the call. I was traveling around the world, staying in luxury hotels, having very glamorous life, and spending time doing public relations for international trade shows around the world. What was the reason for me to give it up? Absolutely none. So yeah, there was a little bit of resistance. I tried to fight it. But the beauty of the energy is that it comes with such a benevolent and compassionate nudge, that whisper of possibility of having even more glamorous lives. And by glamour in this respect, I mean just peace of mind, knowing that you do what you're passionate about, you do what you're good at, and that you are impacting and serving others while you are just pursuing your own passion. And I think when I finally gave up that fight, when I responded to this call, everything else just fell into place. And the rest is history. I've been helping entrepreneurs understand why they're stuck, why they're not aligned with their own essence, why the experiences from the past are controlling them today and dictating how much they are allowed to make. So all of this is possible when we simply say, is there more to my life that I am allowing to unfold?
Wow, that's so much about that I love, and I especially the part about when you become aligned with your gifts, that things started to get easy, and that you and it's I'm wondering a little bit about what you're hearing from maybe clients before they become clients, and when you're having conversations, because I know I've had conversations with people in my business where they come for help, and they're looking at the tactic, or they're looking at some aspects outside of themselves in terms of why they're dissatisfied with their business, why they maybe feel blocked, certain obstacles that, or even patterns that keep recurring again and again and again. And these are some of the things I'm hearing. I'm interested in what are some of the things you're hearing and noticing as people come into your world, where they're looking here instead of maybe looking here. And, so we can acknowledge some of that.
The name of my business is Unlock Your Success, and there is a reason for that. I don't believe that my job is to bestow upon my clients something that they came lacking. Quite opposite. I believe that we are divinely engineered for success. And what that means is that when you incarnate, when you're birthed into this consciousness, you have been equipped with absolutely everything you will ever need to realize your dreams. But what happens? Life happens. And we have parents, and we have teachers, we have societal authority figures, and we start listening to everything that we can or cannot do. Most of it is why we shouldn't be doing and why it's wrong. So after the brief period of childhood where we think ourselves to be invincible, we are programmed with nothing but limitations. Don't smile now because you're supposed to look serious. And don't go to this college because, on paper, this one looks better. And don't be a ballerina because I need you to be a doctor. And what ends up happening is that by the time clients show up at my virtual doorstep, they are fighting themselves. Some of them want to be motivational speakers, and yet they are stuck in a position where their voice has no opportunity to be heard. And some of them want to move forward and perhaps be in a relationship, but the experiences in their lives have led them to believe that the loneliness of singlehood is the only way for them to progress. So essentially, these are the people, business owners, also often who struggle with reaching their income potential. And that comes from all the money programs that have been instilled in our childhood. But no matter what it is, usually the person knows that there is a possibility of more if they just get out of their own way. So my job is to help them step out of that operating system that says you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you don't have what it takes, and put them in a new operating system that says you're a limitless being. So whatever you want, you can have if we just align you with your own vision and your own dreams and clear all those past wounds and hurts that led you to believe that you are less.
I have surrounded myself with entrepreneurial type people now for well over 30 years. And one of the things that I noticed that's very common within that group, first thing would be that we became entrepreneurs because we were already dissatisfied with what we were currently doing, and we wanted to do something new. And then that can escalate to, okay, I have this idea that's potentially world changing, and I want to put that out there. And sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's the pursuit of money or whatever. But there was already this, I think, this voice or this feeling like I'm in the wrong place. This isn't where I'm supposed to be forever. So I'm going to go and do this thing, and I'm going to go and start this business. And then we start the business, but we approach it the same way and do the same things that we did when we had the job, and sometimes end up against the same obstacles. And so I hear you speaking to that. And if you have anything to add to that, that'd be great. But also what I find with entrepreneurs, and there's this term right now called solopreneur. And I really hate that term because I don't believe that any real business or any real result happens solo. There's always a team effort, whether there's other people we work with, or even like in the spiritual realm, there's inspiration. There's the universe is conspiring to help us to succeed. There is collaborations on many levels. Even with what you mentioned with coaching, coaching other clients, not bestowing on them something they don't already have, but maybe helping them to connect and align with something that's already there and just burning to get out. That right there is a collaboration. And it really speaks to the theme of our show, which is about collaboration and partnership. But I'm wondering if you could speak to a little bit that struggle of people trying to solve this on their own. And then, a little bit of where now we can look outside ourselves and look for a partner or a coach or someone who can help us see things differently or do things differently than we're currently doing.
Well, coincidentally, I've just held a workshop called How to Rock Your Sales. And in this workshop, we speak precisely about the points that you've just raised. And that is the moment a person steps out of the corporate environment into their own entrepreneurship journey, there often happens a shift in identity. And what I mean by that is that the most business owners and entrepreneurs, as you mentioned, are driven by this desire and passion to service others, to bring something, to birth something that will change other people's lives. And that's a very beautiful motivation. But because it's their baby, it is their intellectual property, something that they've really conceived, they become extremely attached to it. And at that point, there's this consciousness program called tribal consciousness that makes us believe that we have to be immediately accepted. So when you present your idea to a potential prospect and that prospect rejects your idea, a lot of times these new entrepreneurs will perceive it as a rejection of themselves, as opposed to just the prospect making a different purchase decision. So my advice is always to entrepreneurs is to remember that while we are passionate about what we do, and that is our baby, so to speak, to not get invested in the sweat equity and simply let your prospects make decisions on whether what you offer, your product or service, resonates and responds to their need or not. And if not, just pursue other prospects for whom you are a perfect match. And that will alleviate a lot of stress for business owners who are starting and introducing their product to the world and wondering, am I on the right track? And coming back to solopreneurship, I love what you said. You're never alone. That's the beauty of listening to intuition. That intuition, sometimes called your gut feeling, is your higher consciousness that is watching over you. And just like you said, the universe is conspiring on our behalf to actually help us succeed. So when we open ourselves to higher wisdom that every single human possesses, not everyone listens to, then we are guided. And that also allows for that higher consciousness to throw in our path the most amazing collaboration partners that will lift us in a process. Because again, if the universe is conspiring to help us, it will send helpers along the way.
I love that. And one of the things that I was not aware of and not always aware, I mean, you have to be really paying attention, I think. But when we're trying to solve a problem and we ask for help, those helpers do show up right away, and in many different forms. Sometimes we're paying attention, and other times we're denying that that's even happening. And so, what would your advice be to anyone listening in right now that they're listening to this? Go, okay, well, I've been struggling in my business. I've been struggling to do this. I really want to do this, but things just aren't aligning right. I need some help. Maybe they've already asked for help and it's there and they're not seeing it. But what is your advice for them? Like, what are some of the things they can start to do to open themselves up to maybe solutions that are already around them or support that's already there, or even just a door that they're supposed to walk through? What are some of the things they can start to do now to help with this?
My recommendation would be to first start by using the power of focus. What you focus on is what you get. And we tend to forget that. I know it sounds easy on paper. It's very hard to monitor consciously the billions of bits of information that float through our brain. But the law of attraction is simple. What you put out is what you get back. So a while back, I wrote this article, which logically or from the standpoint of physics doesn't make sense. But I said the glass is always full, even if it's just a drop full. Because if you focus on just one drop of liquid in that glass, it will bring more of the liquid to you. In other words, if you're struggling with money and all you're perceiving is the lack of it, the only thing you can magnify your love is scarcity, because that's where your mind goes. The mind sees in the external reality what it wants to see. In other words, we confirm what the brain thinks by selectively observing what's happening in our lives and then proving to ourselves that that's true. What that means is that, let's say, one of my clients couldn't find a job for 2 years. And of course, by then she was so programmed unconsciously in her mind that there is no job, that no one wants to hire her, that even if she did go to an interview expecting a job, all she could manifest is another rejection. So just by helping her shift from seeking confirmation that she will be refused to confirmation that there are people coming towards her, offering her opportunities or referring her to job openings, allowed her to find a job within a month and a half of working with me. And again, what the power is within us is that we can choose to look at something that we do not want and therefore replicate that in our experience. Or we can say, what do I really want? And then I'm going to keep looking for the evidence that the universe is throwing it my way. And if money is what you want, then appreciate every coupon that showed up via email in your inbox. When you see a dime on the street, pick it up and say, thank you, universe, for throwing money my way. And what you'll notice is first it's going to be a dime, but then it's going to be $10. And before you know it, somebody will call you and say, you know, I've got this project. I cannot work on it. Would you be willing to take it on for me? What you look for is what you find.
I love that. What you look for is what you find. And it's so easy as business owners to get wrapped up in the day to day. Or I've got this problem, and we stay focused on the problem. But when we focus on that problem, we get more of that problem versus, and we can shift that. We can start thinking about solutions. But even a step further is to focus on what we want instead of what we don't want. And we start to attract that in lots of different ways. And I love that because it can come in unexpected ways. It's not always easy to do on your own. And if you're feeling like that right now, I do feel like it would be a good next step for you to reach out to Dagmar, get into her world, because she can help guide you through this. And, we will talk at the end of this episode. There is a free gift that we're going to share where you can connect with Dagmar and get some more information. But this has been great. I really love everything that you shared, and I could spend all day. This is definitely one of my favorite topics. There's so much that we could unpack here, but I love everything. And in my business journey, I've been blessed with having some really great mentors, some really great teachers that have held up the mirror sometimes, or other times like course correct or point me in a new direction. And obviously you are someone who helps guide people as well. But I'm wondering, who guides you? Like who are some of your favorite mentors or people to learn from?
I've had so many coaches, because being a coach myself, I believe that we all need the mirror to reflect back to us when we have a limitation. Because let's face it, we're very subjective about our own world. How would you check what you look like if you didn't have a mirror in front of you? Mm-hmm. So coaches provide us this opportunity to say, is that the only perspective? Or is it really that way, or you just think that that's your limitation? So I've been surrounded and hired coaches throughout the last few decades. Callan Rush is somebody who was very instrumental for me in understanding how to create vibrationally aligned business. Together, actually, with her partner Justin Livingston, who was extremely savvy in creating offers and making it understandable to your audience. I'm working with Laura Langmeyer to understand better financial literacy and how to build a legacy for generations to come. I've worked with Bill Barron. I've worked with David Fagan. Honestly, I don't remember a single year in my life where I didn't have a coach. And so if I missed someone, then I just want them to know I appreciated every single one of them. And my recommendation is to entrepreneurs, whether to hire a coach or to be part of the mastermind, or even just joining a community of like-minded business owners. It is very critical, because we sometimes create a limitation in our mind that we have not even perceived as a limit. We simply thought that that's the way it is.
Yeah, we just simply think that's the way it is, but there's always more. And I agree. I'm always part of masterminds. I've always got someone that I'm learning from who's achieved a level that I have not achieved, but they've figured it out, and it's much easier to learn from them. But at the same time, still staying connected to inspiration and guidance that comes along, so that I can put my own, put that whatever's, new thing I'm supposed to apply to it is there as well. So I love those suggestions. And you mentioned a couple of friends of mine, Bill Barron, Callan Rush, the amazing people to learn from, for sure. Dagmar, while I'm here, I want to also ask you, because, books have been so much a part of my learning as well. I'm not a great reader. I love audiobooks. I consume a lot of information very, very quickly that way. So I ask everyone while they're here, what is your must-read book that you would recommend that everyone reads, because it would make a big difference in either their business or their life, or both?
Well, funny that you ask, Chuck, because actually I'm also founder of the Athena Circle, and it's a community for women entrepreneurs who want to merge the spiritual self with the business self, to really integrate quantum manifestation and law of attraction in all aspects of their business or career. And we just recently launched a book club called The Butterfly Circle, where we go through books of major thought leaders, cutting edge consciousness leaders right now, to really look at how we show up in the world and how we can reach the level of superhuman level, super potential. So it would be hard for me to just name one book, but my interests are always in expanding consciousness. When I was just starting my journey, Gary Zukav and The Seed of Your Soul was a very powerful book to just reaffirm that what I perceive as this whisper from divine consciousness is real, and that every human possesses, and that there is a way to step into authentic power that has nothing to do with this reptilian consciousness or reptilian brain that strives for power, survival, and conquering others. I love The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. I think it's a beautiful book that brings such an amazing peace to everyone's life by just refocusing you away from maybe self-limitation and stress, and into this ease of being in a flow of things. I love books by Joe Dispenza. Like I said, I'm blanking because there's just so many of them that would be hard to just say. Or Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. That is definitely a must. Yeah, so many books.
Yeah, there are so many. Well, you mentioned some great ones already. Gary Zukav as an author, I absolutely love him. I have his Soul Stories book on my bookshelf here. The Four Agreements is one where I've had to read and reread numerous times, even though there's only four, and intellectually they're easy to understand. Internally and emotionally and all of that, it can take a lifetime of practice to really live the Four Agreements. And I think that's definitely on my list of books that I reread once a year. There's a number of them, but I love that. And so I'm going to add that to our must-read book list. And I really do appreciate your suggestion. And I love your idea about the book club as well. I mean, what a great idea to read a book and then discuss them and then to learn something deeper about them. That's and deepen our understanding. And then how do we apply that to our lives? How do we do something better or different than we're doing right now because of everything that we're learning? And so I love all of that. Dagmar, thank you so much for everything that you've shared today. It's been amazing. You just have an energy that is just so, I would say, comforting. And I think that anyone who feels maybe stuck, or you're searching, or maybe you feel like you're not quite aligned with where you want to go, or maybe even what you're doing doesn't seem like it's the right thing. There's a lot of different reasons why a coach and a mentor like Dagmar would be amazing. And Dagmar, for anyone who's listening in who wants to take the next step and learn more from you, I know you have a free gift as well. Tell everybody a little bit about that. And we'll make sure we put a link to it in the show notes here and just beneath this video so that they can connect with you.
I'd like to invite everyone to visit my website, which is simply my name, dagmarfleming.com, because I actually have a lot of free resources to help entrepreneurs twofold. One is to help them release their money and sales blocks, to increase their visioning powers, to manifest their goals. But then also lots of resources on understanding that inner guidance and tapping into this advisory board, which is the entire universal consciousness, these light beings whom some call angels, or however you want to perceive that, but just to respond to this inner wisdom that every human possesses. Now, for this particular podcast, I also encourage everyone to unlock their abundance. That's my video training that will walk you through negative emotions that most people attached to money, which unconsciously sabotage their ability to step into their power and to create the freedom lifestyle that they deserve. I am very passionate about helping business owners succeed financially, because when we have resources, we naturally have ability to deliver on the impact that we've really yearned for. Poor entrepreneur has poor influence. So if we all can just fulfill our dreams through entrepreneurship journey, then most business owners will turn around and spread that abundance forward. And that's what really unlocking abundance is about. It's letting you step into your prosperity that is your divine birthright, and then allowing you to overflow with that prosperity so you can serve others in the best way possible for you.
Amazing. And so we've linked to all your website and everything beneath this video or in the podcast show notes. And I highly recommend that you do connect with Dagmar. Go visit the website. And if at all anything has resonated here with you today, please do take that next step. She has workshops happening throughout the year. There's always things going on, things you can participate in that are designed to help you with everything that we've been talking about here today. So, Dagmar, thank you so much for being my guest here today and sharing all of this. And as we bring this episode to an ending, if you were to give our audience just one final piece of advice, one last word of wisdom, what would you say to them?
I'd like to end with my absolute favorite quote from Ferdinand Foch that said, "The most powerful weapon on earth is the human soul on fire." So my invitation to everyone is get fired up because the world is waiting for you.
Awesome words to end this episode by. So thank you so much, Dagmar. And to our audience, thank you as well. Please do reach out to her by clicking the link beneath this video or the link that's in the show notes. And remember to tune into another episode where we'll have another amazing guest and tools and strategies and all of the things that we like to talk about. And in the meantime, keep moving forward. Never give up because the world so desperately needs you, your gifts, and what you bring to it. And we will see you here for the next one.
Thank you, Chuck.